If your name isn't Texas, Georgia, or Ohio State, I don't even think you've got a decent chance, as where it stands right now, of winning the national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great start to your week. Hope all of you having a great Monday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, we had a ton of chaos ongoing throughout the games on Saturday, which also equates to a lot of chaos in the rankings. For those of you that are new here, every single Monday on the channel, I give you my reaction to the rankings. I haven't seen them. I wait until this video, and also I give you my new and improved updated rankings as well. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about because of all the movement, so I say we get straight into it. We'll start with the AP poll first. Like I said, haven't seen it and give my live reaction. Starting out things hot, 25 through 21, Missouri and Michigan dropped 12 and 14 spots. That's a pretty big drop off. Tied at 19, you got OU and K-State. Boise State, keep your eyes on them. They jump up to 17. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have the Heisman Trophy frontrunner in Ashton Jeanty. Skimming through this real quick, 15 through 11, A&M jumps up 10 spots from 25 to 15. Watch out for them. By the way, they're 3-0 in SEC play. Not too much more to say here. Notre Dame's irrelevant. Don't care about them. They should be banned from ever being ranked inside the top 10 ever again. Let's get into the juicy stuff, though, and that's the top 10. We had Bama go down, Tennessee go down, Miami almost went down, Michigan lost, and who else lost? I'm drawing a blank. Who was the other top 10? Oh, yeah, Missouri. Coming in hot. At number 10, we got the Clemson Tigers. This is a team that I think a lot of people have forgotten about, and they're just slowly but surely taking care of business every single week. I know everybody wrote them off after getting just destroyed by Georgia, but Clemson still controls their destiny. If I was a Clemson fan, I'd be feeling pretty good, and one thing that's really impressed me is the offense finally seems like they're clicking. In front of Clemson, jumping up 3 spots to number 9, we got Ole Miss. Didn't do anything crazy this week. They beat South Kakalaki, but in a week where you got a bunch of chaos and craziness going on like I stated, as long as you take care of business, do your thing, you're going to go up in the rankings. Okay, here we go. Number 8, we got Tennessee. They dropped 4 spots. And at number 7, we got Alabama. Alabama drops all the way from 1 to 7. And considering who they lost to, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible, not too bad, not too shabby. You don't need me to sit up here and tell you how embarrassing of a loss it is. I've already done that enough. However, I will say, on the bright side, if you're a Bama fan, and I know it's hard to look at it from this standpoint, you still control your destiny, and you're still in the top 12. We'll talk about Bama more throughout this week. At number 6, they go up 2 spots. We got the U. Miami has been playing with fire. Really fortunate they don't have not 1 but 2 losses. Georgia doesn't move. They remain the same at number 5. Penn State. I'll let you know right now before I even get into my rankings. I highly disagree with this. Penn State at number 4 is an absolute joke to me. I'll explain why in just a second. At number 3, Oregon. Remember, they were struggling against Boise State, struggling against Idaho, but hey, they're undefeated and 5-0. Dillon Gabriel had not 1 but 2 red zone turnovers against Michigan State, still won the game, and let me just say this. Oregon's ranking and Ohio State's ranking doesn't even matter, doesn't amount to a hill of beans because guess what? They play each other. I don't mind Oregon being at number 3. Speaking of the little bro Ohio State, they're at number 2. And at number 1, everybody knew this was going to happen. We got Texas. Interesting rankings. My only real complaint is Penn State at number 4. I don't like that. Everything else, yeah, I'm fine with. But let's get into my rankings, and this is when we start talking about the teams a little bit more. If you want to see these rankings early before this video even comes out, you can go follow my Twitter. I normally post these more times than not right after all the games on Saturday night or early Sunday morning. But due to everything going on, it was a really busy weekend. I wound up posting these about an hour or 2 before you're seeing this video. With that being said, let's get into it, and I think my rankings are going to shock a bunch of you guys. Coming in hot at number 12, I got the Fighting Irish. Now, as you all know, Notre Dame is banned from being inside my top 10, but at number 12, yeah, I think that's fine. That suits them pretty good. And number 11, and this is where the controversy already starts, I got a team they beat. I got A&M, the Aggies. Now, I know what you're sitting there saying, Matt, come on, brother, what are we doing, man? They got the same record, and Notre Dame beat A&M. How are they ahead of them? Great question, my friend. I'd love to answer it. That game was played in week 1. And ever since week 1, A&M has looked like the much better team. And if it's close, I give the head-to-head to whoever won it. But I don't think it's close. A&M looks way better. And by the way, they just beat a top 10 team in Missouri by 40 points. I believe A&M's only going to get better as the season continues to go on. That's my reasoning for that. You don't got to agree with it. I'm just explaining. At number 10, they've went up in my rankings. I didn't even have them in the top 12 until this week. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions. In the AP poll, where'd they have? Oh, yeah, they have them at number 4. Yeah, that's insane to me. Straight up insanity. Penn State is completely irrelevant until they can beat Michigan or Ohio State. Do not take them serious, not even to the slightest. Here's the thing with Penn State. Beat the teams they're supposed to beat, but when they play a big-time game, they can't win it. They're not bad. They're a good football team, but that's all they are, is good. Tim suits them best in my humble opinion. At number 9, they went up in my rankings as well. I got Clemson. Really like this Clemson team. They're growing on me. Cade Klubnik, he's finally turning the corner. Just watch out for them. They do play in a very bad conference. Hopefully, we can find out more about them in the future. At number 8, they did drop one spot, but it has nothing to do with their performance. I got Ole Miss. Last week, I had them at number 7. This week, I got them at number 8. At number 7, they wound up losing. I got the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee losing to Arkansas is more about Arkansas than Tennessee. I still think Tennessee is a really good football team. I like Nico Iamaleava. Arkansas, they just got their number. They had their number that night. I'm still high on that Tennessee defense. It's just the offense. They couldn't get it going. I like teams that had good defenses, so I'm not writing them off just quite yet. At number 6, didn't move. I got Miami, and I think that's more than fair. I'm giving Miami credit for overcoming a 25-point deficit, but like my granddad always told me, he said, Matthew, you keep playing with fire, son, eventually you're going to get burnt. Miami's playing with fire. They do not look like that great of a team. They look like a good team, but not a great team. I was high on them early in the season, but not too high on them anymore. Cam Ward's phenomenal, but their defense is not even average. They're bad. Give credit to them, though. Like I say, winners find a way to win, and that's what they're doing. They're 6-0. At number 5, I got Alabama. Matt, Bama at 5? My man, they just lost to Vandy. Do you know that? And yes, I do. Trust me when I say this, I don't even want to put Bama at 5. They deserve to be ranked outside the top 12. I really wanted to rank them outside the top 12 and say, hey, you got to earn this. You got to go out there and at least beat South Carolina next week. But that's not fair, and I have to be realistic. And let's just get down to business. The reason I have Alabama at number 5 isn't because of anything they've done. They've looked bad the last 6 quarters I've watched them play. It's more so of, who else are you going to put there? Everybody lost this weekend. Michigan, USC, Tennessee, Missouri, and even a team that won, Miami. They didn't look good. They haven't looked good the past 2 weeks. I do not get caught up in this, oh, because they won, you can't derank them. No, I don't do that. I evaluate the teams for how they play. As bad as Alabama looked in the second half against Georgia and that whole game against Vandy, they don't look worse than Miami. And it comes down to this for me, is how I do my rankings. If it's close, and it kind of is, I ain't picking Miami to beat Alabama if they play tomorrow. So for that reason, I got Bama at 5. And as much as I want to clown on Alabama for losing that game, I am not picking Tennessee, Ole Miss, Clemson, Penn State, any of the teams behind them to beat them. And also, I just simply don't think the teams I have behind them are better than them. I get it. Everybody's going to overreact to it. Yeah, they lost to Vandy, but Alabama is still Alabama. They're not as great as I thought they were before the Vandy game, but they still got talent. I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you write Alabama off after that one loss to Vandy. I don't blame you if you do. Trust me, they deserve to be thrown to the fire, but don't overreact. And I'm trying my best not to overreact to it. My whiteboard is probably watching this video thinking differently, but yeah. That's a different conversation for a different day. If you know, you know. Moving on up here to the top 4. At number 4, I got the Oregon Ducks. I didn't even like doing this. I really didn't. Oregon has not impressed me, and this has nothing to do with Oregon at all. Don't get me wrong, Oregon has looked good, but I wouldn't even put them in the really good category. Here's how I do things. There's levels to it. You got average teams, slightly above average teams, good teams, really good teams, great teams, and elite teams. That's my categories. Oregon isn't even really good. They're just good to me. Same thing with Bama, Miami, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Clemson. And you could argue and say it's more so of, yeah, everyone in front of them just lost, and we could end the conversation there, so let's do that. At number 3, I got the little bro, Ohio State. This has everything to do with, I said this last week, I'm going to continue to say it, I don't know how good they are because they ain't played nobody. Look, Ohio State could be anywhere from an elite team to a slightly above average team. And the crazy part is we're halfway through the season and I don't know because they ain't played nobody. I can't even evaluate these guys until they play some competition. When your hardest game of the year up until this point has been Iowa, it's utterly ridiculous. Don't even try to act like Iowa is a good football team either. Don't do that. You know they're not. Look, Ohio State may be the best team in the country, but I got to see them play a real team before I even bump them up anymore. With that being said, at number 2, this may shock some of you, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. I can see all the nerds running to the comment section right now. Matt, what are you doing? Georgia lost to Bama, and Bama lost to Vandy. I know, my man. I watched the games. Trust me, I saw it. But that Georgia team in the first half against Bama, that was about as bad as you're going to see a Kirby Smart team play. I'm still really high on Georgia, and the only reason I have them above Ohio State is because, like I said, I don't know how good Ohio State is. I can't even try to form an educated guess because they haven't played anybody. At least Georgia has played some real teams. I got Georgia too because of that. It was really close for me, and it came down to I had to ask myself the final question I always do when it's super close. Who would I bet my house on tomorrow if they played? And the answer to that question is Georgia. I would pick Georgia to win if they play tomorrow, so there's that. And at number one, nobody's going to argue this, I got Texas. Let's answer this question. I'm just scrolling through the comments, and by the way, I just posted the rankings. Corey said, shout out to Corey, justify Alabama being on top of Tennessee. Arkansas loss is better than Vanderbilt, in which I agree. Don't say because y'all beat Georgia, who barely got past Kentucky. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that, and I will justify it because I was actually debating whether or not I should put Alabama or Tennessee ahead of one another. It came down to this for me. When I was rewatching the film on Sunday, Nico Iamaleava isn't as good as I thought he was, and he's having trouble. With Alabama, they have one of the best offenses in the nation. They just have a defensive problem that I think can be resolved and fixed. Will it be fixed? Don't know, but it can be fixed. Tennessee has a great defense, but their offensive problems really concerns me. And when it's really close, I always lean towards the team that has the better quarterback, and there's no discussion about it. Jalen Milroe is better than Nico. Milroe has a lot of great weapons, and I know some of you may try to argue, well, Matt, you say yourself, Alabama can't stop nobody. And maybe that remains the case for the remainder of the season, but with Tennessee, although, yeah, defense has been playing good, last time I checked, if you don't score, you're not going to win. I'm telling you right now, and I have to continue to remind myself, don't let this Alabama loss distract you from the fact that Alabama, this isn't an opinion by the way, it's a cold hard fact, Alabama from top to bottom on paper has the most talented team in the nation. Coaching's been questionable. I'm talking about from Kalen DeBoer all the way down to Ken Walmart, defensive coordinator. But talent sometimes alone can win you ball games. That's why I got Alabama ahead of Tennessee. And yet again, thank you for that question because it's a good one. I can't emphasize this enough. I am really worried about that Tennessee offense. Check out this comment. Oregon is not that good. And hey, I agree. The only reason I got Oregon where I do is because everyone else lost. It's one of those things when you're making your ranking list, you're like, okay, who should I put here in the top 5? Well, this team lost. Okay, can't do that. This team lost. This team lost. Miami didn't look good. And then you got Oregon just sitting there, and you're like, well, do I really want to put them there? Kind of got a choice. You got to. I tell you this much. The way Oregon's been playing right now, they got zero shot of winning a national championship. The only teams that I think for sure have a chance of winning the championship, as where it stands right now, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State. If your name isn't Texas, Georgia, or Ohio State, I don't even think you've got a decent chance, as where it stands right now, of winning the national championship. I'll put it to you like this. My top 3 teams you're looking at right here are head and shoulders above everybody else. The gap from 3 and 4 is huge. It's major. Whatever word you want to throw in there, it's not even the same atmosphere. And I already know you got some nerd in the comments. What about Miami, Matt? Psh, are you kidding me? Miami ain't going to be sniffing a championship. You can't stop nobody. Although you shut out Cal there at the end, they still put up a 38 burger. And I don't like teams that can't play even just some average defense. And that's the crazy part. You remember that LSU team in 2019? They didn't even have a really good defensive team. They were average at times, and they still won a championship. But that's what it takes. Bare minimum's average. If you got a defense like Alabama has right now and Miami has, yeah, you're not going to be sniffing a championship, buddy. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Many more things I could say. I want to hurry up and get this video uploaded. Let me know your thoughts down below. But